The space station drifted between 3-star systems, calm and bright. It was chosen because no world could claim it. Its halls were wide, clean, and filled with soft light. Banners from many species floated in the air, showing colors that humans could barely name. This was the first true meeting between humans and many of the galaxy's older races. Everyone wanted it to go well. The celebration hall was crowded but quiet. Aliens of many shapes stood together, watching each other with careful eyes. Some had scales that reflected the light. Others had skin like stone, mist, or glass. Translators hummed softly as they worked. Tables were set in a wide circle, each holding foods and drinks from many worlds. James stood near the center of the room. He wore a simple dark suit, nothing flashy. He was not a soldier. He was not a hero. He was chosen because he stayed calm under pressure and spoke with care. Emily and Michael stood a few steps behind him, ready to help if something went wrong. An alien delegate stepped forward. The being was tall and thin, with 4 arms and eyes that did not blink. Its voice came through the translator, deep and proud. On this day of meeting, the delegate said, "We offer a gift of honor. A drink known across the galaxy." Several aliens shifted at once. Some stepped back. Others watched with clear worry. "Our drink," the delegate continued, "is the strongest ever made. It is rare. It is dangerous. Even one sip has sent whole bodies into shock. Many species cannot survive it." A low sound moved through the room. Fear, respect, curiosity. Small drones floated forward, carrying a clear container. Inside was a thick liquid, bright gold with slow-moving bubbles. The smell spread through the hall. Some aliens covered their breathing ports. Others turned away. One scientist spoke quickly. "This substance is not meant for consumption by new species. We must warn the human envoy." James listened. He nodded once. He did not step back. The delegate turned its many eyes to James. "Human representative," it said. "We do not expect you to drink. The offer itself is the honor." James smiled politely. He had practiced this smile many times. "Thank you," he said. "Your gift means a great deal to us." Emily glanced at him. Her eyes asked a question. James gave a small shake of his head. "Not now." A glass was placed in James's hand. It was small, made of crystal harder than steel. The liquid inside moved slowly as if alive. The room went silent. James raised the glass. "To peace," he said. "And to learning from each other." No one else lifted a drink. James took a sip. Not a drop. Not a taste. A real sip. Several aliens cried out. One collapsed into a chair. A medical team rushed forward, scanners already active. James swallowed. He paused for a second. His face stayed calm. He rolled the liquid in his mouth, tasting it fully. Then he swallowed again. "It's strong," James said. The room froze. He looked down at the glass, then back up at the stunned faces around him. "Kind of sweet," he added. "A little sour. Honestly? Tastes like juice." The silence broke into chaos. "No," one alien said. "That is not possible." "Scan him," another shouted. Medical drones surrounded James. Lights passed over his body. Numbers appeared in the air. The scientists stared at the results. Heart rate normal. Brain activity stable. No chemical burns. No organ failure. The delegate stepped closer, eyes wide. "You should be in pain," it said. "You should be dying." James blinked. "I feel fine." Emily stepped forward. "May I explain?" she asked. The aliens nodded, still staring at James like he was a puzzle that refused to fit. "Humans," Emily said, "come from a world where many plants make poisons. We learned which ones to eat, which to avoid, and which to change. Over time we learned to enjoy things that hurt a little." Michael added, "We ferment. We drink things that burn going down." The scientists looked at each other in disbelief. James lifted the glass again and took another small sip. "We call this kind of thing juice," he said, trying to sound friendly. "Some of us even drink it to relax." A wave of fear passed through the room. "One species cannot do this," a scientist whispered. "Let alone enjoy it." James carefully set the glass down. "We don't mean to scare anyone," he said. "We didn't know it was so dangerous to others." The delegate was silent for a long moment. Then it spoke slowly now. "Your world," it said, "must be very harsh." James thought of storms, of heat, of cold, of animals with teeth and claws. He thought of cities and wars and long nights. "It can be," he said simply. The celebration did not end, but it changed. The drink was moved away, sealed behind layers of safety fields. Aliens watched the humans with new eyes. Not with anger. Not with fear alone. But with respect mixed with confusion. James returned to Emily and Michael. His hands were steady. "You okay?" Emily asked quietly. "Yeah," James said. "I've had worse." Across the hall, the story was already spreading. The humans had faced the galaxy's strongest drink and called it juice. And the stars for the first time were not sure what to think of them. The medical bay filled quickly. Bright lights turned on, and machines hummed as they moved around James. Alien doctors spoke in fast, worried tones. Some had never treated a human before. Others had never treated any being who survived the drink. James sat on the edge of a smooth table, feet dangling slightly. He stayed still even as scanners passed over his chest, his head, and his hands. Thin beams of light traced his body. Numbers and symbols appeared in the air. Emily and Michael stood nearby, watching closely. "This will not take long," one doctor said, though its voice shook. "If there is damage, we must act quickly." James nodded. "Take your time." The doctors expected alarms. They expected sudden changes. They expected pain. None came. "Heart rate steady," one doctor said. "Blood pressure normal," said another. "No signs of neural stress," a third added. They checked again. Then again. "This is wrong," one whispered. "He consumed a liquid that shuts down organs." A senior medical officer stepped forward. Its skin shifted color, showing deep confusion. "Human James," it said, "do you feel fear? Hallucinations? Burning?" James thought for a moment. "No," he said. "My throat feels warm, but that's about it." The room grew quiet. Emily cleared her throat. "May we speak?" she asked. The officer nodded. "Humans," Emily said, "are not immune to danger. But our bodies are used to stress. Our planet forced us to adapt." Michael stepped closer to a display and pointed at the readings. "This drink is fermented," he said. "It has acids and complex chemicals. Humans have been consuming things like this for thousands of years." A doctor tilted its head. "For survival?" Michael shook his head. "For enjoyment." That word caused a stir. "You choose to drink harmful substances," an official said slowly. "For pleasure?" "Sometimes," Emily replied. "In small amounts." The medical officer looked back at James. "And this is considered small?" James shrugged. "I've had stronger." The officer stepped back, clearly unsettled. They continued the scans. They checked James's blood. They checked his breathing. They even checked his eyes. Every result came back the same. Normal. "This defies our models," a scientist said. "Your species was classified as physically fragile." Emily smiled slightly. "We break easily," she said. "But we heal. And we learn." Another official entered the room carrying a data pad. "Reports are spreading," it said. "Other delegates are asking if this was a trick." Michael sighed. "It wasn't." James looked around the room. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," he said. "I just didn't want to be rude." The medical officer studied him. "On many worlds," it said, "politeness would have meant refusal." James nodded. "On ours, it often means trying." The officer turned away, thinking. The discussion shifted. The scans slowed. Fear gave way to questions. "What kind of environment produces this tolerance?" a scientist asked. Emily answered carefully. "One with constant danger. Bacteria. Poisons. Weather that can kill you. Food that can rot quickly if not prepared right." Michael added, "Humans who couldn't adapt didn't survive long. Over time, what was once deadly became manageable." The officer's skin shifted again, this time showing something close to respect. "You are not careless," it said. "You are practiced." James smiled. "That's one way to put it." The medical team finally stepped back. "There is no reason to keep him here," the officer announced. "He is stable." A soft sound moved through the room. Relief. Confusion. As James stood up, one young doctor stepped closer. "Does it truly taste like juice?" it asked. James thought again. "Well," he said, "not the kind kids drink. More like something you'd sip slowly." The doctor backed away, shaken. They returned to the main hall together. The celebration had not stopped, but it had grown quieter. Aliens watched James as he walked, whispering to each other. "What if they all can do this? What else can they survive? Were we wrong about them?" James stayed calm. He walked normally. He did not raise his voice. Emily leaned closer. "You just changed a lot of opinions," she said. "I didn't mean to," James replied. Michael glanced around the room. Too late. The alien council gathered nearby, speaking in low tones. Long-held records were being questioned. Old warnings no longer seemed complete. The humans were not monsters, but they were not fragile either. As the lights dimmed slightly and the meeting continued, one thought moved quietly through many alien minds. If humans could smile after drinking the galaxy's strongest poison, what else had their world taught them to endure? The story moved faster than any ship. Within an hour, every level of the station was talking about the human who drank the forbidden liquid and smiled. Screens lit up with images of James holding the small glass. Alien voices filled the air, asking the same question in many languages. How is he alive? Jessica and David were pulled into a media chamber near the central ring. They were not prepared for this. They were planners and translators, not performers. But the alien networks wanted answers, and the humans were the only ones who could give them. Lights floated around the room, adjusting for many kinds of eyes. Recording drones hovered close. An alien reporter spoke first. Is the human immune to chemical attack? Jessica shook her head quickly. No. Not at all. Then is he enhanced? Another asked. Modified. David raised his hands. No. James is normal. The room reacted badly to that word. Normal humans survive this? Jessica tried to smile. Well, survive is a strong word. We usually don't drink things meant to harm us. But he did, the reporter pressed. Yes, David said. But only a little. The drones zoomed closer. How much is a little? The reporter asked. Jessica hesitated. A sip. The reporter paused. That amount has killed 7 species. Jessica winced. Right. Which we didn't know. The questions came faster. Do all humans drink this substance? No. Do many? Jessica glanced at David. Some. How often? David answered honestly. On special days. Sometimes weekends. The room fell silent. Somewhere outside the chamber an alarm sounded. Not loud but sharp. The media drones froze, then slowly backed away. The interview ended shortly after that. When Jessica and David stepped back into the main hall, they realized the damage was done. Groups of aliens watched them closely. Conversation stopped when they passed. Maybe we should stop talking, Jessica whispered. David nodded. I think we made it worse. Near one of the tables, John stood with a relaxed posture. He was looking at the sealed container that held the golden drink. A safety field shimmered around it. He turned to a nearby alien attendant. Hey, he said casually. Any chance I could get another glass? The effect was instant. The attendant froze. Its skin turned pale. Its breathing ports fluttered wildly. Another? It repeated. Yeah, John said. That one sip probably didn't do much. The attendant screamed. Lights flashed red. Security drones dropped from the ceiling. Medical teams rushed in again, this time toward John. Step away from the substance, an officer shouted. John raised his hands. Well, I was just asking. James hurried over. John, he said quietly, maybe not right now. John looked confused. Did I say something wrong? Aliens backed away, fear clear in their movements. He seeks more, one whispered. He seeks death. No, Emily said firmly, stepping forward. He seeks refreshment. That did not help. Daniel stood near the edge of the room watching everything. He was a cultural analyst trained to notice patterns. He did not panic. He did not stare. He thought. This was not about the drink anymore. He watched the aliens. He saw how they reacted to words like weekends and relax. He saw how they flinched when humans smiled. To them the drink was a weapon. A test of survival. A line no sane being crossed. To humans it was a bad choice you joked about later. Daniel walked toward the alien council members. May I speak? He asked. They hesitated, then nodded. You think humans are careless, Daniel said. That we do not respect danger. The council did not deny it. But humans do respect danger, Daniel continued. We just measure it differently. An elder council member tilted its head. Explain. On Earth, Daniel said, danger is common. Cold, disease, food that can kill you if prepared wrong. Humans learn early what hurts and what kills. Over time those lines move. The elder considered this. So this drink falls below your line. For some of us, Daniel said. Yes. The elder looked back at the humans, now surrounded by watchful drones. Then your people misunderstand what is extreme. Daniel nodded. And you misunderstand what we consider normal. The hall slowly calmed. The alarms stopped. John was escorted away, still apologizing. Jessica exhaled deeply. "Next time," she said, "I'm lying." David laughed weakly. "Same." James looked around the room. "We really didn't mean to scare anyone." Daniel watched the aliens as they whispered among themselves. Old records were being questioned again. New notes were being added. The drink sat untouched behind its field. And the station learned something important. The problem was not the liquid. It was the distance between what different worlds called extreme. The council chamber was quieter than the celebration hall. The lights were soft and the walls shifted color to help calm the many species inside. This was a place for decisions, not panic. James and the other humans stood together near the center. They did not speak unless spoken to. Lauren stood slightly forward. She had been chosen to explain, not to defend. The alien council members took their places. Some still showed signs of fear, but others looked thoughtful now. The oldest council member spoke first. "We have reviewed the events," it said. "No laws were broken. No attacks were made. Yet many among us felt threatened." Lauren nodded. "We understand." "You consumed a substance classified as extreme danger," another council member said. "Why?" Lauren answered simply. "Because we did not know it was extreme to you." A soft murmur moved through the chamber. The elder raised a hand. "Explain your tolerance." Lauren took a breath. "Humans are not immune to harm," she said. "We get sick. We feel pain. We die like anyone else. But our world trained us to endure." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "On Earth," she continued, "nothing is fully safe. Our water can carry disease. Our food can spoil quickly. Our land shakes. Our skies burn or freeze us. Humans survive by adapting, not by avoiding everything that hurts." The council listened closely. "The drink you offered," Lauren said, "is not a challenge to us. It is familiar. It reminds us of things we already learned to handle." One council member leaned forward. "So this act was not meant as dominance?" Lauren shook her head. "No. It was politeness." That answer caused several council members to shift uncomfortably. "The object," the elder said, referring to the drink, "was once a symbol of warning. Of death." "It still is," Lauren replied. "Just not to us." She gestured gently. "To humans it represents our history. We learned how to take dangerous things and make them useful. Sometimes even enjoyable." Silence followed. One council member spoke softly. "Your species was listed as fragile." Lauren smiled sadly. "We break easily," she said. "But we keep going." The council studied the humans again. They no longer saw reckless beings. They saw survivors. The elder stood. "Then we must revise our understanding." It turned to the others. Fear came from ignorance, not threat. The chamber lights shifted to a calm blue. A sign of agreement. The drink was brought into the room again, sealed and secure. It was placed on a pedestal. "This," the elder said, "will no longer be seen as a test of strength. It will stand as a reminder of your world." Lauren inclined her head. "That honors us." James let out a slow breath he did not realize he was holding. The council continued. Trade, research, shared learning. The mood changed from defense to possibility. When the meeting ended, the humans were escorted out, not by guards but by guides. Outside, the station felt lighter. Aliens nodded instead of staring. Some even smiled in their own ways. Emily leaned toward Lauren. "You did well." Lauren shrugged. "I just told the truth." Across the hall, an alien scientist watched the humans walk away. It recorded a new note in its report. Humans were not dangerous because they ignored risk. They were dangerous only to fear itself. And for the first time, the galaxy began to consider them not as threats, but as partners shaped by a hard and honest world. The celebration hall looked different now. The lights were warmer and the air felt calm. The tension that once filled the station had faded. Conversations flowed again, slow and careful, but no longer afraid. The golden drink sat inside a clear case near the center of the hall. A new label hovered above it in simple words, translated into many languages. Non-lethal to humans only. Extreme hazard to others. Aliens paused to read it. Some shook their heads in disbelief. Others recorded the moment for history. James stood near the table, holding the small crystal glass for the last time. He looked at the liquid inside, then at the alien delegate who had first offered it. "Thank you," James said politely, handing the glass back. "It was interesting." The delegate accepted it with care. "Your restraint honors us," it replied. James smiled faintly. "So does your caution." Around them, the celebration continued. Music played softly, chosen to avoid sharp sounds. Different species shared stories instead of tests. Food was exchanged carefully with long explanations and many warnings. Emily and Michael watched from a short distance. Hard to believe this all started with one sip, Michael said. Emily nodded. Humans have started wars over less. Nearby, alien officials updated their records. Old classifications were removed. New ones replaced them. Humans, resilient. Adaptable. Calm under stress. Not monsters. Not fragile. James moved through the hall, speaking when spoken to, never raising his voice. Aliens noticed that. They noticed how humans did not rush, did not boast, did not demand attention. An alien child watched James pass and whispered to its parent, "Is he brave?" The parent considered. "He is used to hard things." As the celebration slowly came to an end, ships prepared to depart. Delegates exchanged final gestures of respect. The humans were thanked not for strength but for patience. In distant parts of the station, messages were already traveling outward. Reports were sent. Stories were shared. On one world, a council paused as they read the words. The human drank the poison and lived. On another, a scientist added a note. Their world must be unforgiving. Across the stars, the truth spread quietly. Humans did not survive because they were fearless. They survived because they adapted. James and the others boarded their shuttle. As the doors closed, James looked back once more at the station. "It went well," he said. Emily smiled. "Better than expected." The shuttle pulled away, lights fading into the dark. Behind them, the station returned to its normal rhythm. The drink remained sealed. The lesson remained open. And across the galaxy, a simple idea took hold. Humans were not known for violence. They were known for enduring what others could not.